There are two major hard forks that are happening in September. One with Ethereum and the other with Cardano. So in this video, I want to talk about both. As for Ethereum, I want to react and comment on a clip I found of CNBC analyst Brian Kelly talking about being bearish on Ethereum heading into the merge. And second, I want to talk about Cardano because the big Vasil hard fork, there is now a date set. All right, let's get started.
Got Bitcoin falling below $20,000 at one point today as the crypto crush continues. The entire crypto space still dealing with major losses this year. BK, you had some thoughts on the correlation with technology, which has recently been pretty high.
Yeah, it's been very high, right? So Bitcoin correlation with the NASDAQ is somewhere around 60%. Ethereum correlation with the NASDAQ is somewhere around 70% for the rolling 30 days, last 30 days. So it's effectively acting, crypto in itself is acting like a 2x levered triple Q ETF. And I think there's some nuance here in that one, Bitcoin itself is not a tech stock. It is definitively an alternative currency. It is digital gold, and you need it when your country destroys its currency like a lot of people are doing today or a lot of governments are doing today. Ethereum, on the other hand, can be somewhat thought of as a tech stock. Because it is going to disrupt a lot of what tech stocks are doing today. And to the extent that it takes daily active users away from places like Twitter and Facebook and Google and all of that, I do think there is something to be said for Ethereum being a tech stock. But in general, I don't think crypto really bottoms until it breaks that correlation. Because otherwise, why do I need it except for levered play on NASDAQ?
I do agree with Brian Kelly on the first few points. And his understanding, or at least his explanation of Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think is spot on. And this is what I've said for a long time too. Bitcoin does not compete with Ethereum. Bitcoin is a store of value. It's a hedge against inflation. It's the one asset that people are turning to because they're afraid that their buying power is decreasing to zero, and they're afraid what the Fed and the central banks of their country is doing, right? So I think Brian got that perfectly. As for Ethereum, I do see it as more like a tech company, right? And that is why we're interested in alts, because these tech companies, or right now, projects, they're small, but they can one day become as big as Google or Microsoft. They're the future, right? So I think those points are spot on. As for the correlation to NASDAQ and the overall market as a whole, I think he simplified it, right? Like there is a correlation, but right now it just seems like Bitcoin and crypto's 2x or 3x leverage, and that's about it. Now, the reason why I think there is a correlation is because of the mindset of traders, the mindset of Wall Street. There's a lot of people out there that simply does not really believe in Bitcoin, or they see Bitcoin as a tech stock, and they're treating it as so. So that's why I think we're seeing that correlation. There's a lot of traders out there. They look at the economic data, the macro environment, right? And what they're used to is when there's a recession, they sell risk on assets like tech, and they put Bitcoin in that category. They are just basically going off of what has happened before, and they're reacting to the same way that they have reacted before, right? So unfortunately, I do think there is that correlation right now, and I would love to see Bitcoin and Ethereum and the rest of the market decouple from the markets, right? I think that'll come in time as the market matures and gets bigger, but I don't believe that the bottom will not happen until decoupling happens. There's no way. Bitcoin found a bottom in previous cycles due to all the retail investors leaving, and who you have left are just the holders. That's how I found a bottom, and I do believe we're right there. So I don't agree with that point, but
hey, Beeks, real quickly, Ethereum, we have this merge coming supposedly in mid-September here. Ethereum, since I think the spring is traded in this range, 2,000 down to 1,000. Now it's kind of the midway of that point after just trading at 2,000. Is there a trade here, or is it fairly much a consensus thought that it should trade up into this event and therefore maybe it won't?
Real quick, again, he asked, is there a trade here? right? Well, this is CNBC, and a lot of people that are watching this are looking for a trade. And this is why we have that correlation, because they're not trying to invest, they're trying to trade. But anyways.
Yeah, I think it's probably more a sell the news, right? I mean, which is maybe not that intuitive, because in crypto you generally want to buy the news, but everybody has been buying Ethereum because they're going into this merge, and now you're going to get a so-called yield. And just so you know, it's not really a yield. You're just getting your inflation rewards back. So it's kind of offsetting the inflation in the currency. It's not really a yield. So I think if anything, there's probably a higher potential for a sell the news event going into the merge. And, you know, you could also have a technical glitch. Not only could there be a technical glitch, but there's a lot of questions about what the apps are going to do if Ethereum splits again. So remember, you could have a chain fork, and you could have now not 1, 2, but 3 different Ethereums. And then what does your D app go on, and what does it play on? So I think there's more risk to the Ethereum merge than people are giving credit for.
Let me address some of these things. Number one, he did talk about how there could be 3 forks of Ethereum, and where are the dApps go to, right? Well, major dApp projects, makers already came out and said they are supporting the true Ethereum proof of stake chain. They're not going to be supporting any other chain. So that's already been clarified. There is no dApp that's looking to settle on a forked chain, especially a contentious one. So we already have Chainlink that came out. They said they're going to support official one. We had several DeFi projects that said the same thing. OpenSea also came out and said the same thing, right? So all the major ones, let's not forget Circle with USDC said the same thing. So all the major dApps, major players in the game have all come out and said they will only support the one and only Ethereum proof of stake, the new chain. So I think we already have clarification. I don't think there's any worry about certain dApps, not the major ones at least, saying, we're going to go to this new fork chain, right? You're not going to hear about that. Second thing is he did mention about a glitch. I think that is legit, although there's been extensive testing already with the testnet, right? And there's a big bug bounty that's in play right now, and so far things are looking good. Now, there's always a chance, but even if there is some kind of bug discovered, things could be delayed, or there could be an upgrade afterwards again, right? So yes, it could happen, but it's not the biggest worry right now. He mentioned about the yield, right? The staking rewards, and how it's basically just offsetting the inflation rate. That is true. That's 100% true. But what Brian didn't mention, and something he's probably not aware of with this new chain, is the fact that Ethereum will drop its issuance by 90%. So that inflation rate that he just talked about drops by 90%. That's a huge deal. So with Ethereum, you still have coin burning. And you have coin burning based on volume. And volume has been pretty low, so there's a set number of Ethereum that are being burned every day. It's not nearly as high as before, but there's a set amount. With the new ETH issuance dropping 90%, the burned amount exceeds the amount that will be released as yield into the market. So that's something that Brian did not cover on. So Ethereum basically becomes deflationary after moving to proof of stake, right? So that's a big deal. Anyways, as for the overall point, should you sell the news? Buy the rumor, sell the news. We see this happen all the time in crypto, and it could be true. Brian Kelly could be right while making the wrong point, meaning that everyone's buying up to the merge and then selling afterwards. That can certainly happen, but I did want to clarify that a lot of the stuff that he said about Ethereum are just wrong. Now, me personally, I am a big fan of Ethereum. I think they're going to do great things afterwards. Even though there is a chance of sell the news afterwards, I am going to continue holding on, because right now I look at Ethereum, the overall market, has barely come up from its bottom. So there is definitely a huge upside still with Ethereum and many others. So I'm just going to keep holding. Now, as for the other project that's about to have a big hard fork in September, Cardano Vasil's hard fork launch date has been announced September 22nd. It's coming up. This is only about a week after Ethereum's merge, or aka hard fork, right? And Charles Hoskinson just came out, did one of his streams, said that basically, more than 75% of SPOs have upgraded, and I've been covering that as well. A lot of the exchanges have been getting ready, so by September 22nd, you could have this hard fork commence, and Cardano becomes faster, becomes easier to program, right? And there's other benefits to Vasil, but those are the two major ones, and could definitely help Cardano going forward. So that is something else that was just announced. So I wanted to let you guys know. That's it for this update, guys. What do you think about Ethereum's merge and Cardano's merge? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.